So what I'd like to do is introduce our first candidate. It's Merle Rutledge Jr. is an investigative journalist from Virginia Beach. Through his work as a journalist and also as the director of the National Coalition Against Government Abuse, Fraud, and Waste, he has focused on highlighting abuses in local government and helping citizens who find themselves a victim to government overreach. Merle?
I guess I'm a little bit too tall. Okay, let me get this started. I always started only one way. I guess the nervousness is all over the place. Ready? Okay.
Is it good to hype?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, let me get this started. God is good all the time.
All the time, God is good.
Once again, I repeat that God is good all the time.
All the time, God is good.
Oh, I needed that. Now, the nervousness is out the way. Let's get to the uncomfortable part. How many of y'all are tired of being called racist? Yeah. We've been called everything underneath the sun. One thing I know, we are not racist. See, we got new black Republicans coming into the party every single day. New white Democrats who are disappointed with Biden and Harris coming into the party every single day. We got new Latinos coming into the party every single day because they're tired of being lied to. They're tired of the Democrats crying, and we are tired of having our election stolen. Don't let the liberal media get it twisted. See, when I got in this race, I told every single Democrat I'm coming for you. One way or the other, it's going to be a new Republican attitude moving forward. See, McAuliffe think he already won the race. A lot of people need some career politicians gone. It's called term limits. I should say the Convention of States, I love it. Because that's exactly what I'm looking at doing. See, it's going to be a couple of different changes in Richmond. See, I'm fed up of people being told one thing and they doing completely another. See, money ain't everything. See, me being on this stage is a rags to riches story. See, that's the good thing about y'all starting up in prayer. Because when you look at me, I want you to say I'm exactly the testimony and the wrath that the Democrat Party took advantage of for far too long. We don't need you knocking on our doors 4 years from now. We need to be taking over Virginia right now. Now, I want to tell you one more thing. President Trump is still our brother. Nobody's turning their back on President Trump for nothing. And if anybody has a problem with that, you have a problem with about 100 to 200 Republicans in here and millions all across this country. See, I'm a proud Republican because my story was from generational Democrat to independent to Republican Party, and I feel right at home with Martin Luther King Jr. See, I saw the mountaintop for November 2020. I saw the mountaintop for November 2021. What it says is that no longer Democrats is going to have Virginia. We are taking our state back one seat after the next. It's not good enough for us just to win the governor's race. We need to take those seats back and show Virginia how the Republican Party gets business done. We are not saying anything bad about Patriot Party or any third party, but if they saying that we are dead, we are weak, we are pathetic. That's what I've been hearing in the news. They didn't meet Merle Rutledge. They didn't meet hardcore Republicans. They didn't meet people that believe in quitting. In my party, in my campaign, we fight, fight, fight. We are sick of Governor Northam's little mandates trying to tell everybody how to behave. Be masked up, be scared over the conflict. I said exactly, I plan on Chuck Smith, where you at? Because I plan on you being the next Virginia Attorney General, and I want you going after China. And the next group I want you going after is the Marxists and putting in the RICO Act and making sure they clean up the mess up there in Richmond. And I want them to find out what unity means. I want them working side by side. Black, white, yellow, whoever made the mess, Antifa, Marxists, it doesn't matter. It's time to reinstate those charges and show them that the parents still run Virginia here. Now to them baby killers. I'm pro-life because I'm right here in front of you. When you could get a tattoo and have to ask permission, but you could go to the nearest abortion clinic, always in them poor neighborhoods, to get an abortion, something wrong with that. I'm so fortunate and privileged that my mother didn't do an abortion. So is everybody inside this room. I know it's hard when a teenager comes up pregnant, but we no longer need to be scared or intimidating or thinking that they are no better than us. We need to be there for them. We need to be the parents for them and say, we still love you, and we're going to take care of that child, and we're going to do this as a family. That's why I'm here at this Family Alliance, because it's about love of family, love of country, and the love of my God. It's about time that a private citizen comes up from their ashes. The Democratic Party has burnt down the Republican Party. But one thing about God, God looks at obstacles, trials, and tribulations. I ain't here to preach because, trust me, after I leave this room, me and Democrats is going to continue to fight. Because there's no such thing as quit in the Merle Rutledge campaign. I got people right now depending on us. They are. Black, white, Latino, because they seen within 4 days what the Democratic agenda is, and it ain't about the people. We no longer going to be considered the party of the rich. We're going to represent the poor to show them how to earn a living without having to be dependent on the government. And we're going to tell the rich it's okay to be wealthy and show exactly what the American dream is all about. We are going to crack that door open of opportunity, not equal outcomes. But we are going to make sure that each and every Virginia citizen, instead of paying for tuition for illegals, we as Virginians must come first. We can't balance a state budget with other countries' problems. And that's what the Democrats are doing today. They are saying we're going to take care of everybody else except us. We got to change up the messaging. If you have a neighbor across the street that you have never talked to, it's time to go across that street. Martin Luther King went across that summer bridge. So many of our leaders, Donald Trump went to the U.S. Capitol. No matter how the outcome went, we saw people that loved their country and was willing to die for their country. That's what happens when you're locked up and you're dealing with Governor Northam and the three amigos, even though the three stooges could run the country better than him or the state. I didn't want to take up too much time, but from now on, don't let nobody talk trash about the Republican Party or any conservative. Like the Rat Pack, when something happens to one of them, that happens to all of us. That's the type of pride we've got to take moving forward. If something happens to you, we got your back. Because there's enough people flip-flopping, and we can see that all over the halls of Congress. Like I said, while Biden is president of the United States, and I hope to be your next governor, I plan to fight Biden every single day. They're going to be so mad at Virginia. They're going to say, who is running that state? That state is giving us all types of problems, and the other states is jumping in. That's because we got a new Republican attitude. It doesn't matter whether I'm black, white, I bleed just like you. And we're going to bleed the Republican Party all across Virginia and show the blood of love, family, and country, and our God comes first. Thank you for having me here. My name is Merle Rutledge, and I am running for the Republican nomination for Governor of Virginia.
We're going to take a few questions for Merle. Does anybody have any questions? Gentleman in the back right there.
Yes, I'm Russell King from Annandale, Virginia. I think this last election had some election fraud, but I think right now the Virginia Senate is considering two bills which I think might facilitate election fraud. One is SB 1097, which repeals the requirement for witness signatures on absentee ballots, and the other is 1101, the national popular vote. How would you restore, or what would you do to enhance election integrity in Virginia?
Well, as I was governor, we would have E-Verify for our elections and people voting in person, so we know who's voting not from the dead like Hillary Clinton voters. But also, I have another plan. See, we got complacent. That's what happened. And we procrastinated. From now on, I want a computer forensic examiner before, during, and after, making sure we get all this each and every single day from those machines. So when we find those errors, we can stop it right then and there. We waited until after the fact. We no longer waiting. I want to make sure Democrats know they lost from the beginning. We're going to make sure of that. And then we can say that's election integrity. Okay, next question.
Yeah, next question. Hey, you can do this yourself. Huh? All right, we have another question. Right here, this young lady right here.
Young, yes. Thank you. I'm concerned about having perpetual idiots on boards that tell you how to deal with medical emergencies like COVID. What would you do in order to end the COVID lockdowns and that sort of stuff?
Well, number one, we wouldn't be locked down as I was governor. Me and South Dakota get along very well because we got common sense. So you don't have to worry about a board for something like this. But let me say one more thing about this, because businesses are impacted and we are in the business. And thank y'all for coming out here and helping out. I plan on having a 15% state tax cut to help with COVID relief for all businesses. And also for startup businesses, I plan to have exactly a zero startup costs. We're going to have to start bringing businesses back here to Virginia. We're losing 800 businesses per week. And at this time frame, we need a bold plan and somebody who isn't politically correct. And I'm not going to be that. So anybody expecting me to be Republican Employee of the Month, that's not going to happen. We're going to start getting some business done. Next question.
Yeah, we have time for one more.
Okay. I guess my question is a kind of a statement, but a question. We watched many states burn, looted, tore down for the last few months. I was at the Capitol, and I have to say, our president did not incite a riot. So I do want to say that much. And I enjoyed it. It was a wonderful speech, and we had a lot of darn fun, if I might add that too. However, my thing here is, I'm not a BLM fan because they do nothing for my culture. I am not an Antifa fan, none of those people. Now, they've come down in Richmond and some of the other areas of Virginia, cut up. Governor Northern took sides with, NAACP, all of them tearing up the statues and so on and so forth. How would you deal with that matter?
Oh, this is perfect question for me. That's when you find out somebody ain't politically correct. The first thing I'm going to do, give out a call to Stone, Mayor Stone, and tell him you're a failure. Period. I'm the only governor's candidate that has actually stopped the riot in Danville in 2018. I got called up from Florida on a good vacation with my lovely wife, and I made a promise to the police chief, anytime you need me, I'm going to be there. and he needed me. And I ended up cutting the trip short. We gotta make some time to go back to Florida. I love you, baby. But anyway, this is how I would handle that problem. First thing I would do, since Justin Fairfax wanted to go ahead and parade around with all of them, I'll say, you know what, we're gonna investigate all of y'all. We're gonna reinstate all the charges, and we're gonna get to this funny business and make sure these misguided and these uneducated youth that's out there destroying buildings, that's why we need schools back open as soon as possible. But the fact of the matter is, we gotta reinstate the charges. We gotta show that there's consequences to your actions, regardless of the situation. And I gotta make sure for the parents out here that they know I'm being a father too and thinking about their kids' futures too. I don't want them tied up in the system. That's why I believe in criminal justice reform, and I call that increasing police funding. Exactly. Making sure we put funding towards mental health services for those who have been brainwashed by Antifa. We're gonna make sure we file. That's why Chuck Smith is in the building. I'm talking to you because I expect you to be the next Virginia Attorney General, so I'm gonna lean on you a lot. So, I love it. But the fact of the matter is, we are going to make sure they clean up the mess. We're gonna make sure they put the statues of our history back up. I don't want them messing with Robert E. Lee, just like I don't want them messing with Martin Luther King Jr. And they're gonna understand that. No criminal is gonna take down our statues. And we're gonna get rid of that little immunity for state officials that incite riots, like Senator Louise Lucas. We're gonna make sure we lock some people up. And that's exactly the way it is, because Angela Green from Portsmouth, Virginia should be on the job right now. And that's who I plan on making sure is my top law enforcement official. Hopefully she's still here in Virginia, but I understand she had to move away from Northam too. So, just know exactly, there's going to be consequences. They're gonna clean up the mess. There's not gonna be any forgiveness until they figure out that this is not the way we handle business. We handle business civilly, with civil disobedience. Nothing contained in civil disobedience means ignorance.
All right. Thank you so much.